trouble causers in all groups of people.
Yeah.
So that's those people. But I'm more interested in yourself. Like, why would that cause you to be an agnostic?
Because they're getting all the publicity, and people are listening to it.
Okay. No, because an agnostic, I understand. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Would be someone who says, basically, I'm sitting on the fence. I don't say there is a God, and I don't say there isn't a God, and I don't say there is. So they're not taking any position.
Well, my view, which is in the dictionary, says that I accept that there may be an entity. I just don't believe it. I just don't. I'm skeptical. That's what it is.
Oh, and
I believe there is a God, but I don't know. I'm skeptical.
Is that based on your research and conviction, or is it just based on like a psychological position? I don't want to be tied down.
No, I believe my position is agnostic because of what I see around me. Again, I refer back to the idiots who get listened to. That's why I think, well, hang on, if people are listening to these people and believe in it,
yeah.
I mean, and what I also see, I see the Muslim with the female walking two places behind her, at Whitechapel. I've seen them. I've been in Victoria Park. Where I've seen the Muslim actually beating his wife.
Okay.
I went over there and I called him every cunt under the sun. And he said, "Well, you look." And I have rugby boots.
Of course, that's completely wrong.
But they're using religion as to do that.
I still don't understand why bad people would make you doubt the existence of a. Like, if I come from another angle, we exist.
Yeah, of course.
The earth we live on exists. The day and the night exist. So, before we look at other people, I would ask, how did we come into existence? How did the universe, the earth we live on, how did it come into existence? The alternation of the day and the night, the alternation of the seasons, the water cycle, the fact that me and you are able to communicate, we're able to breathe, our hearts are pumping. For me, I would say, put aside all the people, this would be sufficient to know there has to be a creator.
Well, yes, you can take that view. I take a slightly different view. I take the more scientific view of that. I'm more the
scientific view.
Scientific view. I can't think of his name.
Evolution,
Darwinism.
Okay.
I'm more the Darwinism side of it. However, even Darwin.
Is that scientific though?
Yeah, even Darwin couldn't explain what you can't explain everything.
No, because I'm very limited in this, but I understand Darwinian evolution is a system, or is an explanation of how everything came from a common source, a common ancestry, and then you have so many different types by mutation and by natural selection. But before that, Darwinism can't. Firstly, I understand it can't be actually demonstrated, as in we don't have any. Like, if I give a very brief example, when it comes to the paracetamol. If a person has a headache or a person has a temperature, we know from science, from medical science, that you take a paracetamol, and generally, I'm going to say, by the permission of God, a person's temperature will come down and a person's pain will lessen because of the paracetamol. And therefore, this thing you can put forward this proposal, and it can be tested again. And again, and again, and again. But the idea of there's mutations, and because of natural selection, you're able to get a new species, a new type of creature. I understand it can't be proven, it can't be demonstrated, and their response would be because you need a lot of time. But therefore, I wouldn't say it's scientific. If you can't demonstrate it and repeat it.
Well, they've tried to do that. Some have failed.
They've tried, but they haven't been able. I think they have a lot of intelligent people, or seeming intelligent people with big words, and they put it upon the people as if there's no other way. But I don't think it can be demonstrated.
No.
And even that itself, it can't explain how life started.
Well, they would argue.
Darwinism evolution doesn't claim that how life started.
That's right. That's true. There must, if you believe in the Big Bang theory, came Darwinism. If you believe in the Big Bang theory. But Well, the Romans had the Greeks, they had their gods. You say that's another thing. They had their own god, and then they say the same one,
but they still had a belief in a god, regardless of the names or the titles. Because I would say this is innate in human beings to recognize a higher power. But can I put something to you?
Yes.
Which I've read from Muslim scholars, and I don't know if it's exclusive. It's probably not exclusive to Muslim scholars, but they put forth a very simple argument about concerning the existence of a creator. The argument is, if I can explain it well, the argument is we know from our own experience exist and then was brought into existence. Three things were necessary. Three things had to be there for this non-existing thing to come into existence. One is knowledge. Two is ability, and three is intent. So for example, when it comes to the camera or the microphone, for this thing to be made, it didn't exist, it wasn't there, and then someone made it. Whoever made it, they had to have knowledge of how to make it, they had to have understanding of how it operates, they had to have the ability, and they had to intend to do it. And this we find in everything. Forms of transport, the buildings we live in, etc. All of these things, this is the default position. So if someone can demonstrate something which didn't exist and it came into existence without these three things, knowledge, ability, and intent, then I think they can try to argue that the universe, ourselves, the sun, the moon, the stars came into existence without these three things. Because I would say this is the default position. Something didn't exist and it was brought into existence. It necessitates a being with knowledge, with ability and intent for it to come into existence. So I would say that when a person, he observes and he reflects upon the creation around us and even in ourselves, it necessitates there has to be a creator, regardless of what people call that creator, regardless of how they understand that creator, but there has to be a creator. The idea that things just came into existence without a creator, I would say is ridiculous. It's non-scientific.
Oh yes, you can talk. Well, yeah, I can take that. You can take that point of view. I can see the point of view. Yes.
Can you give me another point of view?
No, I can see that point of view. However, excuse me. With that intent, with the intent, did whoever created intent to have the division that we've got now?
I mean, that's secondary, but that's what I'm saying. Regardless of who the God is that God good? Is that God bad? Etc. Etc. What is the God? Why did the God create it? But my point is, we have to start somewhere, and the first point is there has to be a creator, and that creator has to have knowledge, ability, and intended to do it, otherwise it wouldn't have happened. So unless someone can bring an argument and say, no, it's possible, that should be our starting point. So for me, before we discuss Islam, Christianity, Catholicism, Protestant, Sunni, Shia, before we discuss this, we have to agree there has to be a creator, a God. And also I would say, that's one argument, but also the nature of the human beings. If we look in history, what historians have shown from the study of people in different times, in different places, in different civilizations, very simplistic people, very what they would consider civilized people, every society has always believed and recognized a God. It's a very new idea of atheism and people not believing in God in such a mass scale. But in the past, we've always had people believing in God, and people, they always have a need and a desire to call out upon something. Because in Islam, in the Quran it mentions, I know we're establishing the Creator, but the Quran mentions that before we were placed in this earth, our Creator, He asked us, Alastu bi Rabbikum, am I not your Lord? And all of the people, they said, Qalu bala, they said, yes, we affirm this. So this belief is ingrained in a person's soul. Like the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said to the mean, or he said, "Kullu mawludin yulid ala fitra." Every child born is born in a natural state to recognize there's a God, to recognize that there's a divine entity, a power out there. And they've actually done studies, if you look them up, where the way they approached the study was they've asked young children, what is the purpose of the sun? What is the purpose of the rain? They've asked them well-known things. What is the purpose? What is the purpose of the eyes, the ears? And they've asked these questions. And children, naturally, instinctively, they will say, these things have a purpose. The sun has a purpose. The rain has a purpose. The eyes have a purpose. Which means that whoever made these things, or whoever brought these things into existence, done it for a reason, a purpose. Because atheism would say, for example, us, as a believer in God, we would say the sun exists because the Creator wanted it to exist in order to give us light, to give us heat, to give us energy, to cause the crops to grow, etc. It was made for a purpose. Whereas atheism would say the sun happened by accident. It was just a mutation. It just came into existence over thousands of years. It was some kind of chemical reaction by mistake. And the byproduct was, it gave light and it gave heat. So the fact that a person believes in purpose and design, it shows that they believe that there's a creator. So I would say observation, the scientific method, the natural disposition of a human being, it necessitates there has to be a creator. And no one has argument on the other way around. They may pretend, they may puff up their chest, they may raise their voice, but they don't have actually an argument for this. And this thing in human beings to call out on a creator is innate. So that's why I would say that to be atheist, I say it makes no sense. It's a denial of reality. It's a denial of the intellect.
Yeah.
But I would say, I'm going to say something now, but I mean it respectfully. But I would say when someone says they're an agnostic, it's like a cop-out. I don't want to commit myself. I just want to carry on and live the way I want. But it's like ignoring the reality.
That's why I go to Mass
yeah.
for Christmas.
Yeah.
For that same reason. Well, hang on, there must be something bigger. However, when you come out into the real world, you come out from St. Paul's Cathedral, then you hear all the rubbish.
Yeah, definitely. But that's secondary. But I would say
people are believing it. I don't.
But you believe in the God then?
There's some things you can't be explained. No, I don't believe in the 7-day theory. No, I don't believe in that.
No. But I didn't ask about that. But do you believe in a God?
There must be an entity. There must be an entity.
So you do believe in a higher power. I mean, in European languages we call it God.
Well, there must be some sort of entity that
knowledge, ability, intent.
One that you can't explain. Something you can't explain.
Yeah.
There is that. However, when I see how people have used that for their own purposes, to promote this and to promote things that they want to use and use religion for their purpose to promote evil and put them together, that really puts me down.
On the other hand, corruption of the corruption and oppression of religious people. Okay. Is that exclusively to religious people, or can it be also people who are concerned with money, people who are concerned with power?
Exactly. Yes, it can.
Can it refer to atheists and stuff like this as well?
It can be to some atheists, but yes, you're right. It corrupts.
Like communism and
corruption corrupts everything.
Okay, so I don't think that this is a valid point for you to avoid submitting and seeking to recognise who is God and what God wants from you.
Well, see, we brought Church of England, you see.
Yeah.
Which isn't a religion in my view. You've got to kill Catholics to create your own religion because you want to get divorced. That's not a religion, is it? That's what Henry VIII did.
It's quite interesting, a very interesting point. A lot of people are not aware. We're told that King Henry VIII, he separated from the Catholic Church for the reason of divorce. But there were other reasons as well. Interest, usury.
No, yeah.
It was forbidden in the Catholic Church, but they wanted to establish usuries because usury is a very oppressive form of slavery. By controlling people by poverty, rich people become rich without actually offering any service or without doing any, without offering a product or any service. So, but also taxes. Taxes would go to the Catholic Church, but obviously the Church of England wanted the taxes of the peasants to go to them.
And they paid the taxes to them by tithes,
So it wasn't only divorce, but...
And politics, I know. But
yeah.
I mean, he faced a younger model anyway. So that's what puts me off a little bit from religion.
Yeah, but religion
to solely say in a creator exclusive, no.
Have religions done good? Have religious people done good?
Well, they've got the Salvation Army. They're religious, yeah. They've done good there.
As in terms of, because obviously I'm Muslim, but in general terms of religion, charity work, taking care of the poor, establishing orphanages. Also, I would say the religious people. I'm not going to say in every single case, but religious people, they tend to be more concerned about family, keeping the family together, taking care of the elderly, bringing up the children with morals. I'm not saying that this is a 100% rule, but I'm going to say generally. So the thing is, it's like you're coming from a biased point of view because you don't want to commit. You're going to say religious people are like this, religious people are like this, religions have caused this. But I think religious people have also done a lot of good for individuals, for society, for taking care of the needy. And also it gives people a purpose of life, and it gives people, how would you say, a purpose, and it gives them a structure to their life.
Yes, I agree with you. But what, in that regard, what those people should do is to counter immediately the people who use their religion, their belief, for their own ends.
Yeah.
So the imams should come out and say, look, this is not us.
Yeah.
This, whoever it is, the Catholic Church, they're trying to do it now. The Catholic Church is trying to do it. The Church certainly don't do it. All those people really should espouse that point of view to counter all the myths that come out now. They should do it right now.
I mean, speaking as a Muslim, I know, because obviously we've been accused of a lot, 9/11, 7/7, etc., ISIS, etc. I know many Muslim organizations, many Muslim speakers, many Muslim scholars. They've written, they've spoken, they produce literature extensively, warning against extremism,
I've seen some of it,
and trying to educate people against extremism. It's quite interesting because in this country there's a lot of mosques, there's a lot of Islamic centres, centres of learning, and generally, if not always, you will find that these centres, none of them promote this what we call extremism. Extremism generally takes place online, on the internet. Yeah. So there is an effort, but the thing is, if we can establish there has to be a creator, my next question would be, has this creator created us, me and you? Don't worry about these people, for a purpose?
Well, if you don't, if it's to procreate, I suppose there's that point of view. But I mean, when I say procreate, to expand the knowledge and the intent to others.
But even procreate is going to happen whether we believe in God or not.
No. Animals do it. Educated fleas do it. But I mean, to procreate, to expand, and to pass on the knowledge, the intent, and the reason to others to continue that line. So
you think it makes sense? It's reasonable. It's a correct position to have, that if there's a God, there has to be a purpose.
If there's a God, there has to be a purpose to us all being here.
I think we agree that there is a God.
Why are we here? And why are we here? There must be. If there's a God, then yes, There must be a reason why there's a God.
Why are you saying if there is a God? There is a God. There is a.
Well, that's your point of view. I respect that.
But you haven't given me any counter arguments from what I've offered you, and I think you're in agreement. I think you just don't want to commit.
Well, there must be, as I said before, there must be an entity. There must be an entity.
Yeah,
Whether you call it God, what you want to call it, but there must be an entity that can't explain.
Yeah.
You can't explain.
Which, to make it simple, rather than having to describe it in English, we call it God.
Right, but
so there has to be a God.
There must be something there. Yeah, I mean, I go to mass, so I must believe there must be a God or an entity of some sort.
Entity.
For me to go to mass in the first place.
Okay.
But unfortunately, yes, I've never seen what the good work the imams have done to counter
extremism.
But in my opinion, they don't go full on. They should go full on.
I mean, how did they go full on?
Do the same tactics.
We have to be law-abiding citizens. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
What I say about that, do the same tactics as they do in social media. Expose them. We don't. This is a problem. Nothing to do.
It happens.
Go on TikTok. Yeah. They do. Go on there and say, look, this is not us. It never was.
Yeah.
Which is why. And I go back to the point that Muhammad is in the Hansard, in the lineage of the Queen of England. So you've got that to back them up.
I think the thing is we can always talk about other people, but it's good to be concerned about other people, about society, but everything always has to start with ourselves. I have to correct myself. I have to understand myself, what I'm here for, who my creator is, what my relationship with the creator is. And once I have a foundation, then I can try and concern myself and worry about other people.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So that's my two things.
I agree with that, yeah.
So I think we are agreed so far, there has to be a God, an entity, there has to be a purpose. So now my next question is, do you think, I'll give it an introduction to my next question, human beings, we are limited. For example, we are constantly learning, but we make mistakes. We can misunderstand things. We may learn something, we may forget it. We may change our mind. And also, human beings, we can be biased. Our understanding and our outlook can be biased. So bearing that in mind, do you think that this creator would inform us of our purpose? Or do you think that the purpose is left to each and every person to come up with what they think it is?
Your latter part.
Okay.
That bit. If you're saying human beings are all individuals, then yes, and then you're going to get, it has to allow those human beings to...
Free will,
yes, and to create that purpose.
For free will to do good and to choose the right way, to choose the wrong way, and also we will bear the consequences. But I would say it doesn't make sense to leave the purpose to limited, biased people. That's why we differ so much.
Well, that's what's happening now. That's what happened. That's the reality.
That's the reality. But I'm saying because people, they don't know the purpose the Creator has given them. Like, if I say every product which we have, like the bag you have, the coat you have, the cameras, the speakers, a person's watch, etc. It has someone who has made it, and the purpose. The person who made it was the one who made it for a purpose. What I mean to say is the purpose is always given by the maker. The purpose is not given by the product. That's what we understand as human beings. Like, for example, if I have a watch, the person who made the watch, their purpose can be to make money. And I can buy the watch to look nice, to look good in front of people, to look smart, to look presentable, but also to tell the time. That's the purpose of the watch. But this purpose came from the maker. The person who made it in that way to fulfill that purpose. He had a purpose in mind and he made it that way to fulfill the purpose. The watch itself doesn't give the purpose. It's the maker who gave the purpose. So with that being the default position, we understand that the Creator who created us for a purpose is the one who gives us the purpose and he informs us, rather than leaving people in blindness, in darkness, wandering, trying to find out what the purpose is. That's why we understand that this Creator who gave us a purpose has informed us of the purpose by two ways: by the sending of books and by sending messengers. The messengers are in a society, they're considered from the noble people, the intelligent people, the honest people, the people of integrity, and then they're chosen by the Creator to convey a message, to inform the people who the Creator is and what their purpose is.
Well, yeah, I agree with that. Most religions come to that purpose. So it comes to that as well. The Catholic was saying the same.
Yeah, of course.
But as I come back to it, yes, I agree with that.
Yeah.
However, there's got to be a bit more attack. When I say attack, I mean attack in the same way as people are trying to use religion, all religions, for their own purpose. That's why I'm agnostic. Because I don't see that enough from people who are, for the people you just mentioned, countering that. And I'm not saying Islam. I'm saying Catholic Church of England.
There's extremism in all groups of people in society.
If I see that, and I see that in the same form as the people who attack them, then okay. Then I'll take the point. That those people that message is passed on to those people to expound the message.
You're aware of the story of Noah and Abraham.
Yeah.
These people, Noah and Abraham in his time, they were, especially particularly Noah, if we take the narrative of Noah was a righteous man surrounded by evil people. Now, if we take your example, we would say because he's surrounded by evil people, then Noah shouldn't commit himself, shouldn't turn to God, because the rest of the people are evil. But he even though he was alone, or he only had a few believers around him, he stood firm and he was successful. So for example, yourself or myself or anyone, even if you know the Creator, you have a relationship with the Creator, you're upon the straight path, you have to be firm upon that way, you have to be steadfast, regardless of the other people.
Be steadfast, yes. But not only to be steadfast, but to counter as well. Use that steadfastness to counter the people.
Whether the people listen or not.
Well, yeah, exactly. At least you can say, well, I've stood steadfast. I've told that Islam, because we're religion, but we're not like the extremists. But you've got to do it in the same fervour, in the same attack, and the same method as the people who use religion for their own purpose. But that's what I'm saying.
From our this is the first time we met. From this discussion we're having, I understand that you are not taking any position, you're not taking any certainty upon the Creator, upon the purpose that the Creator has given me, what is the right way, what is the wrong way, and your reasoning is because there's a lot of bad people out there who are doing bad things. But that doesn't make sense to me.
But the reason why I do that, until I see the same as I said before, until I see that people the people you just explained, who have the knowledge, be as firm and be as steadfast and strong to the people who use their religion that they studied for and had the knowledge for their own purpose. That's what I'm saying, as you put it, sitting on the fence. Then I say, right, I can see that the Church of England is now saying no, we're not all Islamophobes.
Okay.
We're not. Even though that poxy Prime Minister is trying to say the same. We're not.
But worrying about myself, ourselves individually, when we die, everyone is guaranteed, everyone agrees, everyone knows we have to die. Regardless of your belief, regardless of your religion, etc., everyone knows we're going to die. As generally in Islam, Christianity, Judaism, in particular I'm talking about Islam, we believe that once we die, this life is a test, a temporary test, and we have free will, and we can choose our actions, our statements, our beliefs. But because we had free will, and because we are being tested, after we die, there's going to be a judgment day, and we are going to be judged upon our actions, upon our words, upon our choices. And
You don't believe in a rapture then?
no.
You don't?
No.
Oh, well, that's interesting.
But let me continue with this point.
Okay, yeah.
And then there's going to be paradise or hellfire. It's either going to be God's mercy, because no one can entitle themselves to paradise. It's purely by God's mercy. Or God's justice, hellfire. If you are in that situation, and then the Creator, the Almighty, the All-Knowing, the All-Wise, says to you, what did you do? Even though He knows already. And you say, well, there was a lot of bad people, and there was a lot of extremists, and I felt that the Muslims, and I felt that the Catholics, and I felt that the Imams were not doing enough to speak about the evil and educate people. Therefore, I sat on the fence. I didn't worship you. I didn't follow the way you wanted. I didn't submit to your commandments. I didn't avoid your prohibitions, and I just sat on the fence. Do you think that that will be the helpful, beneficial for yourself?
Well, if St. Peter told that to me, if I get to the gates of St. Peter, he told it to me.
Yeah.
Well, there's another place for me, isn't there? Purgatory. Do you believe in purgatory? Do you think there's purgatory?
Purgatory, what do you mean by purgatory?
Well, you know, it's a sort of between heaven and hell, like, you know.
See, the thing is, I would say, you know the expression, you're jumping the gun. You haven't submitted to a God, you haven't submitted to a particular religion, but then you're using religious teachings to say, well, if this happens, I'll do this, or this will happen to me.
Yeah, it will. Well, according to the Bible, it will, isn't it? That's what happened to me.
So you seem to be on the fence, but you seem to be dipping your toes in every now and again.
When I was at school, we learned about all religion.
Yeah.
Everybody studied.
Yeah.
All right, not to a great
not to a great extent. Yeah, you touch on them.
You told about Christianity. You told about Islam. You told about Hindu, etc. So Buddhism. But to answer your question, I'm going to say, if I go to St. Peter and say, "What did you do?" I'll just tell him, and if he says, I have to believe what I believe in. If he thinks that's not good enough.
So Catholic or Church of England?
Well, St. Peter. Well, everybody goes to St. Peter. Christianity is St. Peter, isn't it? So if I go to St. Peter, he tells me that same question to me.
Yeah.
I will say, no, I didn't sit on the fence. I'll say, I didn't sit on the fence for the same reason. I agree with you. That's why I didn't submit myself to a creator. Okay. And whatever happens to me, happens to me. But I've got to be true to yourself, haven't you?
Yes.
So if I'm true to myself, however what happens to me, whether purgatory or whatever else, or the rapture misses me, I have to stand by what I believe. I hope that answers the question.
Yes, but it's led on to another question. We have, for example, Christianity with various denominations.
Yes.
We have Islam, you may say with different groups and sects, etc. Christianity, Islam, Judaism. I'm just going to mention the main religions.
They don't
Buddhism.
believe in hell, do they? Judaism, they don't believe in hell, do they?
It's questionable. But anyway,
well,
Buddhism and Hinduism. We'll say these are the main 5 religions. Is it possible that all 5 of them are correct and true?
Well, my limited knowledge of Buddhism, I'm limited there,
but just the idea that five ideologies, 5 religions, they have different beliefs. Sometimes the beliefs contradict each other. They have different commandments. They have different prohibitions. Is it possible that all at the same time they can all be true?
Well, that's a hard question to answer. It's a hard question to answer.
I'll answer you. The answer's no.
Well, no, but it depends. The Hindu will say, yes, I'm right, and the Judaism says
like
I'm wrong.
Say for example, in Hinduism, when some of them will say that there's one God,
yeah,
and he has various manifestations, and we can worship that God in these various manifestations. Or some will say Hinduism believes in hundreds, if not thousands, of gods.
Yeah.
But so when you take that belief, and then you take Islam, Christianity, and Judaism. I mean, Christianity, the Trinity is very problematic, but they will say there is only one God, and only that one God deserves to be worshipped, and that God cannot be worshipped as idols and statues. I would say necessity would say, in this context, Hinduism and these three religions which I mentioned here, Islam, Christianity, Judaism, they all can't be right because they're contradicting each other. Either Hinduism would be right and the others are wrong, or these are right and Hinduism wrong, or they're both wrong. But you can't have them all being right.
No, that would be impossible. But they would say they are right. Despite wouldn't they? They would say we're right.
So we're getting somewhere.
Well, they will say the counter.
Yeah.
They're right, whether anybody else think they're wrong.
So the thing is, so for example, and if I go into Islam, Christianity, and Judaism, when it comes to the person of Jesus Christ, Jesus the Messiah, Jesus son of Mary, when Judaism says that he's a false prophet, that he wasn't sent as a prophet, he was a false prophet, he came from illegitimate birth, etc. They speak bad about his mother. That's their belief concerning him.
Yeah.
And they believe that they killed him as a punishment for his blasphemy, magic, leading astray the children of Israel. That's their belief. Okay. Then we have Christianity in its various forms. I'm not saying every Christian group, but they will say that Jesus is God, he's the Son of God, he's a part of the Trinity, etc., etc. And then you have Islam saying that Jesus was a messenger, he was the Messiah, sent to the children of Israel. He wasn't sent for all mankind, he wasn't God, rather he was a human being who performed miracles and signs by the permission of God. Is it possible for all three of these people to be right on this issue, even though they contradict each other?
Well, no, it can't be. However,
yeah.
God, that's what, if you believe the Bible, that's what he said he sent his son down to do exactly.
Yeah. But
That's the Bible.
But that's my point. They all can't be right.
No, we can't. Well, no, they can't be right. No, they all can't be right. No,
Okay.
you're right. Yes, I agree with that.
So
The Bible says that as well.
So where we reach so far, I'm going to impose what I see. There has to be an entity, there has to be a God, there has to be a purpose. The Creator will give us our purpose. I would say by sending messengers and books. The world has 5 major religions, even though they have offshoots and you may have some odd or peculiar religions, but these are the main 5 ones. They all can't be right. Therefore, if we reach this state, I would say we have to use our intelligence, our understanding. We have to do research. We have to find out which is right and which is wrong.
No, yeah. I'm going to agree with that. But as I say, I accept what your argument is. But again,
Why but?
Well, I would say but because when I walk away,
but is like an escape route.
Why I walk away from it? I'll turn around. Oh dear, here we go again. We call this Islamophobes. We call this Islamophobes. Until I know
that's not going to help you on the day of judgment.
No, well, as I said,
that's not going to help you.
If I get to St. Peter's Gate and he turns me away, fine. But if you do that, St. Peter, I've been true to myself. If you don't think I'm right for your heaven or whatever you got for me, fine. But I've got to be true to myself. And until I see something that gives me that confidence to say, I can see what the Archbishop of Canterbury is saying. Yeah, he's attacking people that use Christianity for their own ends. Yes, I can see that the King of England.
Yeah.
No, he's invited the Muslim
I haven't followed it, but I heard a lot about it. I've seen some things about it. Yeah.
But he didn't do any money. Give any Maundy money. He invited the what was it? Ramadan.
Okay.
Was it Ramadan?
Okay, yeah, we're in Ramadan. Yeah.
Yeah. He invited the imams to
break their fast, didn't you?
Fine. Okay, great. Why doesn't he do that? And he didn't hand out the Maundy money, which is also religion. He didn't do that Maundy Thursday for Lent.
Okay.
That's what you should do. You should do the same thing that I'm mentioned Islam. I recognise that it's Lent now. Here's our Maundy money.
You're very concerned about other people. I'm gonna because we've had a very I would say polite, reasonable conversation. We haven't been rude to each other. It's been very pleasant. I'm going to say something now. which I hope it doesn't offend you.
No,
but,
I don't get offended. No,
but
I don't get offended.
I don't think you're being honest to yourself.
Well,
I think you're avoiding.
Well, I am avoiding, yes. I'm avoiding, for the reason I'm avoiding,
Yeah.
until I see equal...
No, you, don't worry about them, you.
Well,
Yeah.
because until I see something that will make me believe in whatever it is,
Yeah.
the messages on earth
Yeah.
are saying, yeah, we're not Islamophobes. We'll invite everybody to Buckhouse or Windsor Castle for Lent, celebrate Lent,
Yeah.
to celebrate
Yeah.
Ramadan.
Yeah.
I don't see that.
Okay, I'm just gonna say, but see what it is. In Islam, we are, as a Muslim, I'm supposed to be responsible for my wife, my children, my neighbours have rights upon me, my parents have rights upon me, the society has rights upon me, Muslims have rights upon me, non-Muslim have rights upon me. Like, for example, I'm living in this society, I should be honest, I should fulfill my trusts, I should, etc., etc. But, all that being said, when the angel of death comes to me, he's coming to me. I'm concerned about myself. When I'm placed in the grave, and we in Islam we understand that when a person's placed in the grave, angels will come to the person, will ask the person 3 questions. Who is your Lord? What is the way of life you chose for yourself? And who is this man? Meaning the messenger Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because he's the last messenger sent for mankind. And also on the day of judgment, when I'm between paradise and hellfire, and my Lord is in front of me, and my sins and my good deeds are being weighed, the scrolls of my deeds are handed to me. At that time, I am not concerned about anyone else. I am so fearful, so concerned, so worried about myself. I think that's what you need to really think about. You can help other people, you can correct other people, you can be concerned with the errors and the misguidance of other people, but you have to make a commitment to yourself, to the Creator. When you do that, I would say you are being true to yourself.
Well, yeah, I accept it. Yeah, that's all right. I mean, that's the point of view. But I've got to give me something to make me believe in the Creator. You've got to tell for me.
I have.
For me. Yeah, I'll take your arguments. Yeah, but for me, I've got to say something's got to go click. Yes.
Have you read the Quran?
In a bridge form, what they gave us was a beautiful book. I've still got it somewhere. The Quran and the beliefs.
Yeah,
it was illustrated.
Read about it. Read about it.
And it's brilliant. I wish the Church of England did the same thing, but they don't. But anyway, that's the point.
Anyway,
I read that. I read that. Okay. Yeah, I can see that. I can see how they'd be respectful, women to express respect, but yeah, I can get that. They never, in the Quran, and they never tell you what 10 bases behind it.
No. There's a lot of things which are cultural. Yeah.
It doesn't say that in the Quran.
No, it doesn't say that.
Well, they are.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot. Bridge version of the Quran. I'm nowhere near an expert. But yeah, I've read it.
But I think you really have to concentrate on yourself. Like, time doesn't permit. I'm gonna But it's been a very nice conversation. But I would ask you, like, when you're alone, when it's quiet, when it's peaceful, just think, me, and the Creator. What is the relationship? What's going to happen to me? And you need to commit yourself.
Well, yeah, I can take that point. But as I say, I've got to have something to sort of, yes, I can believe in the Creator because I see this happening.
Yeah.
I see this happening. Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah. Okay.
I am happening. That's why I believe in the Creator. I'm breathing. My heart is beating. I'm listening to you. I'm talking to you. I'm looking at you. I'm hearing you. I'm digesting my food, etc. This is more than sufficient to know that there is a Creator.
Well, okay.
Anyway, I think Okay, sir. Thank you very much.
Say,
it was a pleasure. Hansard.
Look up Hansard, and you'll see that Muhammad is part of the lineages of the.
Okay, no problem. Thank you very much, sir.
All the best.
All the best.
All the best.
I see your videos sometimes.
Can I take off?